In today's Kitchen Think, virtually cheating. Does your spouse have a second wife on Second Life? Virtual affairs online are common, but is it really cheating? Give your thoughts on our website, viewfromthebay.com. Well, we're going to stick to the topic of infidelity. How do you know if your spouse is cheating? What are the signs? And if he is, what should you do about it? Well, our next guest has actually been through it. She's also investigated cheaters for years. She's the author of Ultimate Betrayal: Recognizing, Uncovering, and Dealing with Infidelity. Please welcome Deneen Manette.
Good to have
Hi,
you with
Deneen.
us.
Thank you so much. So, do you have a personal story? What's your experience with this?
Well, I've actually been on all three sides of the infidelity triangle. I have been the third party, I have been the cheater, I've been the victim. Back when I was in college, I was the cheater and I also was the other person. And in my current marriage, I was the victim early on in my relationship.
Oh my gosh.
And you landed on your feet and survived?
Absolutely, absolutely. That was about 11 years ago, and it was a situation where a previous relationship continued after we got married, but we took some time apart and we worked through our issues and we were able to put it back together.
Oh. That's what people want to know. Can you survive it and stick with that person?
Absolutely. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes energy. It's a struggle. It's a real struggle. But if both people are committed to make the relationship work and to understand maybe what got them to that point and to try and work through it to get to another place, it's absolutely possible.
What was it that inspired you to write the book? Basically to offer help to other people?
After I discovered infidelity in my marriage, we took some time. I left and moved away for a couple of years. Me and my husband broke up. And I had a lot of rage, a lot of anger, a lot of confusion because this had happened to me earlier when I was dating in college. I had discovered that that boyfriend was cheating and I felt like here we are again. And I had so much anger, so much rage, so much hostility, and I started to put it on paper. I started to just type during the midnight hour when I was just in so much pain. And I would go back and reread what I had written, and it seemed as though there was another person who was going through the same thing I was going through. And it was as though I had this friend that was helping me through the darkness. It was just really, really comforting.
Writing about your experience helped you recover from it?
Absolutely. Yes, it did. It gave me an outlet for my pain and my anger.
Is there a difference between men and women when it comes to finding out that they've been cheated on? I mean, do men just break up? Or do they try to work it out? Because I know women do try, some of them do try to work it out.
Across the board, now of course each individual situation is different, but across the board, when men find out that their woman has been cheating on them, they are a little more reluctant to get back into the relationship. Women, as you know, we're nesters. Men are hunters and gatherers. We're more nesters, and we really want to try and keep the nest together as best as possible. Sometimes, of course, that doesn't work out. But typically, it's a little more difficult for men to get over their woman having an affair than it is for women. And it's because a lot of times affairs are viewed differently depending on who's having the affair.
Are there statistics on who cheats more, men or women?
It's pretty much equal, and it doesn't seem as though it's equal because men don't talk about it as much. Women, we're more, you know, we chat with our friends, we talk to our sisters, our mothers. We're far more interactive, and we communicate, and we lean on each other for compassion and for understanding, whereas men kind of keep it inside. They a lot of times view their woman stepping out on them as some type of sexual inadequacy on their part, and they're not going to talk about that. When I have done radio interviews and callers call in and ask me questions, 70 to 80% of the callers are men, because that is a form in which they're more comfortable discussing what has happened in their life.
Let's talk about some warning signs, how you might know or guess that your spouse is cheating on you. The first one is take an overall assessment of your partner and their previous patterns.
That's correct. You need to find out exactly what has happened in their prior relationships. What caused those relationships to end? Is there a history of your mate dealing with the problems in the past through having an affair or through dealing with some other woman or some other man? Is there some type of a history or component in the way they dealt with problems and issues in previous relationships that seem to always go back to infidelity?
Now, you also say that we should assess our current relationship. So
That's correct.
What is it we're looking for there?
We're looking for changes that are affecting the intimacy in the relationship. Perhaps there's a new baby. Perhaps there's a new job that is taking time away from the amount of time you're spending as a couple. Perhaps there's financial stresses and other type of stresses that are going on in the home that are causing you to be less intimate with your partner, and your communication maybe starts to break down and you start to become far more distant and less in tune with each other's needs.
Another warning sign, look for drastic changes in their behavior.
That's correct. Things that have just changed, have become extremely different than what they typically are. Work hours have changed, behaviors have changed, the way a person dresses. All of a sudden they're interested in going to the gym. There were activities that you two used to do together that now they're doing by themselves or with other people. Bringing up names of people that you've never heard of. There were things you may have had access to that you don't have access to anymore, like the phone bill or the cell phone or the credit card statements. Just changes in behavior, changes in attitude. Maybe they're picking an argument with you over something that used to be okay, criticizing you. You know, just different mood, different physical changes, different behavioral changes that are just kind of a clue that there may be something going on in your relationship.
And you say whether there's been a history of infidelity in your own relationship may be a factor as well, right? Yes, that's true. That's true.
If perhaps you were dating this person when they were dating someone else, maybe they were cheating when they met you, or if this person has cheated on you in the past, then the likelihood of them perhaps cheating again is pretty high.
I'm curious about this. I do want to ask this because we don't want to make people paranoid, but you know, we want women to be cautious. So how do you know if you're being like insecure and paranoid versus just like, I kind of suspect something?
Yeah.
Paranoia versus caution comes from your own personal experience. If you are someone who has been cheated on in the past, there's a high possibility that you are carrying your baggage into this current relationship. And you really need to be aware of that. Just because someone has done something to you before, the fact that you're now looking for the next person to do that, and you're holding them accountable for your security when your insecurity is off the chart, that's when it becomes paranoia. However, if you're with someone who is very flirtatious or has a history with you of cheating or dealing with exes or relationships outside of yours that you don't feel comfortable with, then that's not paranoia. That's just being cautious. This person has a track record of perhaps doing things that make you feel insecure.
And very quickly, the very first step you must take to start to heal from the pain of having been the victim of cheating, is there a first step?
Well, it's really acknowledging how you got to this point.
Yeah.
It's deciding whether or not you're going to stay with this person, and if so, we need to figure out how we got here. What broke down in our communication, our relationship that brought us here.
Deneen Minette, Ultimate Betrayal. Great book. I was reading it in the commercial breaks. Thank you so much.
It's terrific.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye. Tomorrow on The View from the Bay, the bell's about to ring on their first day. How to prepare when you don't have much time. Then on Monday, get high marks in fashion. Hot new styles that'll put your kid in a class of their own. The View from the Bay, tomorrow.